So when it comes to trying to scale an agency, the biggest problem that a lot of people have in terms of what's prohibiting this is trying to do everything yourself, right? It's impossible to scale when you're trying to manage literally everything from the start of the consumer journey to the end of the consumer journey and do it all yourself, right? So it is literally impossible to scale, at least properly, at least to the revenue levels that you probably want to hit if you're in control of every single part of the business yourself, right? So the agency business model by nature has so many different moving parts, and genuinely, if you try and do all of these parts yourself and try and do it at scale and try and get to the numbers you want to hit, you're going to end up basically doing nothing because you're just trying to do everything, and that's just not possible, especially when you want to scale, right? So the best thing to do here is, obviously when you're growing an agency, right, the very first thing you're going to focus on is cracking client acquisition. So once you've cracked client acquisition, you have a predictable way of getting clients, or you have a predictable way of delivering the service. The first thing you want to do is not eliminate service delivery, right? It's not remove yourself from a service delivery. You want to remove yourself from client acquisition, right? So this is extremely important. This is where the biggest leverage comes from. And this is what I've personally done at the stage that I'm at, right? So before removing yourself from client acquisition, you need to have a few things in place, right? You need to understand it yourself. You need to have a fundamental understanding of getting clients, right? You need to have a clear understanding of your metrics, right? So if you understand client acquisition, if you're good at it, you should be able to get meetings, you should be able to close meetings yourself, right? You should already be hitting certain KPIs in terms of the meetings that you're booking. So let's say probably I would aim to not outsource it until you're at least booking 5 to 6 good meetings a day yourself, right? And then you can put people in place to basically run the system that you've already created, right? Also, this plays into ethics, right? It's not ethical to hire people on the basis that I'm going to talk about, right? If you don't have a predictable way of understanding that if I book this many meetings, I'm gonna get this many clients, right? This is our revenue. These are the numbers we have to hit that revenue. And you basically already need to have a working system for lead generation and for closing as well. And then you can turn that entire working system into a complete SOP hub, which you can give off to other people, right? So that's what it looks like, right? Alongside this, you want to start building a personal brand, right? So having an inbound system to basically just work alongside the outbound that you're going to be doing and really have conversion assets to actually help bookings, right? Also have a solid VSL, right? So what I'm talking about here, what exactly do I mean when I say removing yourself fully from client acquisition? I'm talking about a commission-based outbound team. So commission-based setters and commission-based closers, right? So again, I want to preface this by saying you need to have the things that I just talked about in place before you even consider doing this. Otherwise, not only is it completely unethical, but it's also just never going to work because you don't understand it yourself. You're not going to be able to assist these people at all in telling them what works because you have no idea how it works, right? And you're just going to end up pissing a lot of people off and giving you a very bad reputation. So you already need to know how to do it effectively. You already need to have a system doing it effectively, and then you can think about doing this, right? So how do you actually go about hiring a commission-based outbound sales team? So first of all, right, we want to hire commission-based setters, right? So make a good offer, advertise it, be genuinely realistic about results they can get if they put in the work, because at this point you should already have a copy and paste system where you already have a proven angle, you already know exactly what they need to do, right? You've already given them all of those instructions. So now you literally just need to tap in to a few different places, make that good offer, right? Put up a Facebook post, go into Facebook groups, use your network, maybe you have a following on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, you have a newsletter, whatever, just advertise it in as many different free places that you can put that message in front of these people that you know would be interested in this as much as possible, right? And pay around 10 to 12% on this. Don't overthink the hires because they really don't need to be 18 players at this point in time, right? Because all they're going to be doing is following a proven system, right? You have everything, right? You have basically the angle they're going to be using, you have templatized responses they're going to be using to book people in. So it's extremely simple, right? So you don't need to overthink it. It's literally a copy and paste system, right? So that goes into setters, right? It's super simple. In terms of managing them, you can have one call a week with these setters, depending on how many you're hiring, right? Communication, right? Just have them WhatsApp, Slack, or whatever. But again, buying back your time with the SOPs and by understanding the system makes this worthwhile because again, if you understand the system completely, you already know how to get results, you put everything into an SOP hub, you're not going to have to spend much time managing these people because you already have that working system and all they're doing is copy and pasting, right? In terms of closers, finding a good closer initially is a little bit different, right? Because with closing, right, you can tell someone everything about appointment setting and give them the entire system and copy and paste. With closing, you can tell them exactly what to say, exactly what to do. You can make the SOP hub as well. But again, there's always nuances there and people are different when it comes to this. It's face to face, right? Or at least virtually. So again, don't hire a sales rep until you're generating enough leads for the sales rep. Hence why I just talked about the setters. Yourself, you should be able to at least convert at 25% plus on calls before you even think about doing this, right? Otherwise, how are you ever going to speak to the sales rep on their same level, right? If you can't even convert consistently yourself, right? You're not going to understand what they're doing right. You're not going to understand what they're doing wrong because you don't have a foundational understanding of sales enough to really help them, right? And you should at least have, like, I'd say probably 15 minimum examples of 1 call closes you can give to them, or 2 call closes depending on your offer, right? Just good closes you can give them to model the calls on, right? In terms of finding talented reps, right? Again, it's kind of like setters. So you just want to use maybe your customers. Some of your customers could be interested depending on what you do. Your network, Facebook groups, loads of high ticket closing groups out there. Make a good offer, play it into their interest as much as possible. Be genuine about what you guys do. And you want to basically create like a simple Google form for them to fill out, right? Where they can record a Loom video telling you more about it. They can answer certain questions. And that's it. Basically, you just want to review the applications, right? The goal is to get as many applications as possible. The goal is to interview around 5 to 10 closers at an absolute minimum and then make a good decision, because hiring the wrong sales rep can cost you a lot of money, because not only is it going to waste you time, and not only will they not close, right? So you're not missing out on revenue. It's hard to explain. It's like, because not only are they not closing, but you're missing out on all of the revenue that they could generate for you if they were actually decent, right? So again, it's hiring a sales rep is important. You need to make a good decision on this, because especially if you're paying for the calls, right? You're paying to acquire these calls. So not only are you wasting with them not closing, missing the missed opportunity, the missed revenue from them not closing, and then also paying for those leads as well. So you need to pick wisely on this. And yeah, interview them. And then same thing with the setters, you want to map out an SOP hub. So you want to have an SOP hub which literally talks about everything. I can get up on my laptop right now in terms of what I have for my closers, for my closer that I have on board. It's super simple, right? So I literally have everything going from Google Calendar SOP to walking them through pay funnels, sales training resources that we have for them, taking sales calls SOP, new appointment SOP, what they're going to do before the call, follow-up workflows for no calls, for no close calls, taking payments, post-sales, tracking sales, call recordings, payouts, daily reports. Everything is mapped onto one SOP hub, and if you have everything clear and concisely talked about here, it buys back so much of your time, because you're not having to manage these people, you're not having to tell them what to do, because it's all there, right? So again, this is where it makes it worthwhile, because otherwise you could just do everything yourself. You wouldn't be able to scale, but again, you would spend so much time having to train these people that almost wouldn't make it worth it. But if you have these SOPs in place, you're calculated about who you hire, right? Especially when it comes to closing, right? And you already have a working understanding of this whole system yourself. You're already generating revenue, so it's ethical to hire these people on a commission basis because they are going to get paid. By all means, do this. It's a great strategy, but just please keep in mind that you need to have predictable systems for both, and you need to have a good business, right? Especially for generating leads, closing those leads, and then you can start to think about putting these systems in place to hire people on a commission basis and basically scale a lot quicker, because you're no longer doing everything yourself, right? If you want a little bit more information about what we do, we can help you do this exact thing, right? We don't offer a program, we don't offer anything that you're probably used to seeing, right? If you want a little bit more detail on that, book the link in the description, you can get on a call. And yeah, that's everything for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.